Everyone talks about motivation. Everyone talks about willpower, but no one talks about why those things fade and why so many of us fall off every diet, every challenge, and every new start. Today's episode is about something deeper: the reasons behind the choices we make, the identity we're building, the version of ourselves we want to show up as when no one else is watching. This isn't about food rules. This is about the emotional fuel behind a healthy lifestyle. If you've ever wondered why you can do everything right for a few weeks but then lose momentum, or why you keep restarting over and over, this episode is for you. Let's talk about the reasons that pull us forward long after motivation disappears.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Curds Coffee, episode number 14. My name is Alan Thompson, and I am joined by my fabulous, wonderful, loving, happy, funny, beautiful wife, Katie. How are you today?
I'm great.
Great. Episode number 14, Reasons over Rules, Why Most Diets Fail, and how your why changes everything. So I'm excited to get into this topic. I know you are as well, but how you been? How you been since the last time we sat down and did this?
We've been so busy. We've had so many fun things going on. We have a lot of change coming in our not too distant future. So we've been working through what some new schedules are going to look like and celebrating that we've got some growth ahead. And yeah, life is great.
It is great. And we're running a 5K tomorrow.
Yes.
For charity.
There's a charity event that we set up a Mousetrap Fitness team. We've got some other folks from our Orlando gym community that are going to be coming out to support. Kind of started because one of our members works in the Marriott organization, and the Marriott organization is doing this. And so she said, hey, wouldn't it be really fun not to just have you guys join my team from my coworkers this year, but if we could get more Mousetrap people. So that's what we did.
It's awesome. Another day in the life, running a 5K just for fun.
I mean, Alan runs 5Ks all the time. I don't.
I do.
So he is well prepared for this race and this activity tomorrow. And I will be just going at a smooth, comfortable, whatever casual conversational pace will be for me.
I haven't decided. I might run tomorrow morning to get the work I need to get done out of the way and just turn it into a zone 2 run. But we shall see.
You might accidentally win for your age group if you, go hard.
Yeah, no, I have to do some intervals tomorrow, so it's just a matter if I'm doing it in the morning or doing it on this course surrounded by people. So, why most diets fail topic that we're going to talk about tonight. We are in the middle of shooting lesson 2 of our course on the nutrition framework. And we wanted to do a deep dive on this particular topic because it's really important that anyone taking that course, but I think anyone who's trying to get on the healthy lifestyle, healthy eating, they understand some of these ideas and they start to incorporate them. So we're going to talk about them.
Let's go.
So let's start really big picture, right? Why do you think most diets fail?
For me, because it was always... actually, I was going to say one thing, and as I'm about to say that, now I have another thing. I have 2 reasons why my personal diets have not turned into a lifestyle.
All right.
And I'm going to change that from why my diet didn't fail.
Right.
Because the first problem was I set some type of target, and it was either to fit into a certain dress that I had for an event, or it was a random goal weight that I just chose out of thin air because I thought it sounded good, or I don't know, on a chart somewhere at a doctor's office. It probably had something to do with BMI, and it said I should weigh this because I'm this tall. Um, and I would eat what I thought was appropriately within the diet to accomplish that specific metric. And then as soon as that was done, then I was like, cool, I did the thing. And now I'm going to go back to being normal Katie, which then meant I would gain weight again. And then I would put, most of the time more weight back on. And I would continue to go through this cycle. But um, I would achieve the thing. So, like, in essence, was it successful? Like, maybe, I guess, in some cases, because my goal was wear the dress. But from is this sustainable? Am I doing this long term? Absolutely not. In that regard, it certainly failed.
Didn't turn into a lifestyle for you.
Absolutely not. But I wasn't surrounded by anyone who ever, like, my community and my environment was filled with crash diet people. I didn't have a healthy group of regular friends, like my family wasn't super keen on that growing up.
Yeah, no, I think no, I think you're onto something, and I think for me, it's funny because every time I decided to get focused on losing weight or building muscle, I could do it. It's the lulls in between that I find the most interesting, and because of that, I think it spurs this question in my head about what are the reasons why it's happening, and I think that's really why diets, diets don't turn into healthy eating, because we never address, or we typically don't address, the why behind the unhealthy eating. Like, why are we overeating? Why are we undereating? And we don't really, or diet culture, fitness industry, we don't really talk about that. We don't ever dive deep into why am I reaching for fried rice on a Friday night when I could have anything? Or why am I reaching for the ice cream on the couch? Or what is the thing that I know we would go on these 8-week challenges, and I knew the list in my head of the things I was going to eat once I was done. I couldn't wait because it's going to be Portillo's, it's going to be da 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 da. And as opposed to learning how to create a lifestyle where I can have those foods regularly, and not go through weeks of restriction in order to go quote unquote earn that food. So the reasons why for me, diets don't address that, and therefore you can't change behavior unless you change the belief system and the thoughts and the messaging around why you're actually doing the behavior. So do you remember the moment when you realized that it just wasn't about motivation? Like getting on a diet, being super motivated, and all of a sudden, like, the diet doesn't turn into a healthy lifestyle. I mean, when did you discover that motivation wasn't the reason?
Well, after so many failures, right? We were having the conversation of, well, I've done this and I've done that. And I've, every time I'm sort of successful and then I fall off the wagon. And for me, I don't know if it was like one singular moment or if it was the ability for me to continue to talk about what was going on and having I don't necessarily want to call it camaraderie, but having the ability to have a partner in this, someone who didn't just tell me to put some sneakers on and go for a run, but actually sat with me and said, what are we doing this for? And why is this important to you? I would have continued down the exact same path over and over and over again. Because it worked. It put the Band-Aid on the thing that I thought I was trying to fix.
Makes sense. As I look back over sort of the course of my diet history or unhealthy eating history or healthy eating history, I'm always reminded of my time at West Point on the boxing team when I had to hit a certain weight each week, and I did whatever it was required to do. To do that, my teammates were counting on me. I was counting on me. I had dreams and aspirations of being an Olympic boxing champion and turning pro. Like I was in it.
Yeah.
So for me, the list of reasons or the power of the reasons that I had were helped me effectively make sure I made weight every week. And when I think back on it, times where I wasn't as healthy as I wanted to be, I was pre-diabetic or, in some cases overweight. And, the sort of the quintessential, well, I'm eating healthy to look good wasn't a heavy enough reason, obviously, right? So I can look back on the times in my life where I've been really successful in managing my weight and healthy eating, and when times that I wasn't, and it really stands out in my brain now that I look back on it that I just didn't have strong enough reasons. Like my literal reasons were I want to look good, and then I didn't. That reason didn't seem to be strong enough to overcome eating out all the time, drinking all the time. The need to do those things won out over, hey, make sure you're eating healthy and exercising.
It's interesting when we talk about all of that we in society, and both of us experienced this in our past, just kind of emulate the superficial.
Sure.
Like, it is so evident when you sit and think back to where we've come from and what the experiences were like. For me, I was chasing a dancer's body. Yeah. I was surrounded, and anyone who has been in performing arts and gone through any of that can understand the pressures of being on stage and costumes, and when you're going into auditions for things, like your resume has your measurements on it. Like you literally walk in with a headshot and you've got your bust measurements, your waist measurements, your hip measurements, your length of your hip to your ankle. Like there's so much surrounded with the physical.
Yeah.
That when I got out of that environment, I was just used to that. And so, then I'm thinking through, what does my life look like as I'm looking for a partner? Like, I want to present a beautiful version of myself. And
well done.
Thanks. But when I met you, I was not what I would consider my most beautiful version of myself. And it's, kind of funny that you think about what happens to people when, they go through a breakup, right? All of a sudden they start going to the gym a little bit more because now I got to go, I'm back out on the market. I need to put my best foot forward and I want to look my best. But then you settle into a relationship and you kind of quote unquote let yourself go. And you, like, as a couple, tend to, maybe put on a little bit of weight, or you're not as active. And so it was a unique difference when we met, that I was wanting to make some pretty significant, body changes. And for me, out the gate, like, it was visual. It was very superficial. I wanted to like the photos of myself. I wanted to like who I saw in the mirror. But that was only going to get me to, and it only got me to, I lost 45 pounds in the first 8 months that I was doing nutrition coaching and working out at this CrossFit gym. But once life happened for us again, I put that and more weight back on.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I'm with you. I did want to ask you, you said something about a dancer's body, that you wanted a dancer's body. What did that And what does that even mean?
The visual that's what you're asking. Like, what does
Mm-hmm.
she look like? She had way thinner legs than I have. Much like flatter stomach. I never was one that I would ever look at and say she had a flat stomach. Um,
Where did that come from?
longer, lanky. I mean, if you look at a ballerina, right? Like
Was there?
they're not traditionally super curvy. Now, to be fair, I was not training to be a professional ballerina. I wanted to dance on Broadway or get, hired by a music artist and be a backup dancer on their tour or things of that nature. So I was way more like street style, hip hop. Tap was one of my favorite styles of dancing. So very different body type, I guess required. But because everyone needed a foundation in ballet, I was constantly surrounded by these little prima ballerinas, and I just don't have that shape.
It's
I've
interesting.
always had muscular legs,
Yeah.
but growing up they were referred to as thunder thighs.
Well, it's just interesting. Like you weren't even studying to be a ballerina, but yet somehow that became your definition of the ideal that you had to achieve.
Well, sure, but then also if you think about what did swimsuit culture look like as I was growing up, our Victoria's Secret models and the angels and the runway shows that we would see, or the Victoria's Secret swimsuit edition comes out, and guys are looking at it for one reason. I'm looking at it because I want to look like a model. America's Next Top Model, that show, right? Like everything that I saw and was exposed to was like long and lean, but lean, not toned.
Yeah. No, no, I hear you. The why behind eating healthy and living healthy definitely changes. And that's what I hear you saying. And I agree. I mean, for me, I grew up a skinny kid out of St. Louis. I think I graduated, graduated high school, I maybe weighed 165 pounds or something.
I
And,
weighed that like 3 weeks ago.
but I was slight of build or whatever. And then I got into West Point. I ended up fighting. I mean, I put on some weight through just the course of growing and maturing and exercising that regularly. Once I got there, and I fought at 165 most of the time, 156 every once in a while.
That's little.
Yeah, I had to do a lot to get to that weight.
Y'all, Alan's 5'10". I don't know if you guys know this
Yeah, it's a
about
lot of
him.
water
That's
that I was
that's
getting rid
a
of.
lean 5'10".
So, but from the evolution of why, because it was all like, for me at the time, it was all looks and vanity and all the body goals. So I went through my boxing phase. Once boxing, it's funny because I had to make a decision. Was I gonna stay lighter to keep boxing, or was I going to do what I really wanted to do, was start lifting weights? Because I had a guy in Germany teaching me how to lift weights for the first time. We didn't lift weights as a boxer because there's this whole mystique around, if you lift weights it'll slow you down, yada yada yada, and it'll make you heavier, slower and heavier, which is not anything you want to do be as a boxer. So it wasn't until I got out of college and now I'm in the regular army, and a friend of mine is showing me how to lift weights in the gym, and I literally made a conscious decision, like, I want to be this big muscular version of Alan. So I'm hitting the gym, I'm hitting the weights, and it's all about not get as big as you can, but get bigger and get big muscles and whatever. And I remember when people started referring to me as big guy, as opposed to, I don't know, little guy. I don't know what they were calling it to me before. But there was this evolution of, like, I wanted a boxer's body to now I want a bodybuilder's body, to where I am now. Well, and it's not that it's not important to me how I look in the mirror, because I mean it is, but relative to all the other things that I'm worried about, moving well, increasing my VO2 max, improving my run times, improving my lifts, like getting the biggest muscles I've ever had isn't on the list. anymore. Um, Maintaining a boxer's body isn't on the list anymore. So it is interesting to think about sort of the evolution of my why and how it's evolved as I've gotten older and over time.
Yeah, I like that you're talking about the evolution because it's very much seasonal. And I say seasonal in like where are you in what season of your life?
Oh yeah,
Because the season of Katie in her 20s, even the season of Katie in her 30s is different than the season of Katie in her 40s, which will be different than Katie in her 50s. And what I want to do now and what I wish I would have done in my 20s was start building the foundation and building the muscle because, um, my 20s were not spent in any healthy capacity. I have some great travel memories, but from an actual like health and wellness standpoint, nothing I did in my 20s contributed to that. And as I have learned and grown in my profession, owning a gym, getting to work with athletes, training athletes, specifically learning about how women's bodies are different, I did myself a disservice by not doing anything for myself in the 20s. So now I have to, I started this CrossFit program in my 30s. I was years behind a lot of these other women that are out there. And I love when we get young girls into the gym that are in high school or, just out of school and going through college and getting to see them move their bodies and lift weights and do strength training is so awesome.
yeah,
Because their 50-year-old season is going to desperately need the muscle mass that they are creating now.
sweet. No, it's really good. Yeah, I mean, as we evolve, so should our reasons, I suppose. And you ran a great point about the different seasons in our life. I wish I had done it sooner.
Yeah.
I wish I had done this, what's going on right now. I wish I had done it sooner.
We can all say that, but by saying that, I hope it inspires and encourages people to start today.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Wherever you are. If
I,
you are in your 50s, your 60s, you're, in your teen, whatever, whomever is
yeah.
listening or watching, it's not too late.
No, you're 100% right. It's not too late. And I am reminded that in most cases for me, what got me to walk into the door or to start eating healthy again was I want to look, vanity. I want to look good. I want my pants to fit better, that type of thing. So it's interesting now that I think about pushing off into as far out as I can, the slow go and no go years. It's interesting now that I want to push out, end of life as far as I can. I want to travel well. I want to move well. I want to do all those things. Yeah. Why do you think? I mean, for me, as an example, the vanity, wanting to look good, didn't always translate to making the right decisions when it came to food. It's not like this like magic pill reason that was so powerful that it would overpower all my bad habits or the things that I learned that weren't helping me achieve my healthy lifestyle. Why do you think most diets don't really dive into this? Don't have it. We don't even have that conversation.
It's more of this is a quick fix. It's easier. Marketing tells us that you should just do this thing right now. And, we continue as society to want to have immediate results. And what we're suggesting takes time.
Takes time.
It's harder. You
Yeah.
have to do a whole lot of self-reflection. You have to go to some places that maybe you're not comfortable going. And we know what a healthy choice is. We might not always understand the whole complexity of how do I build a balanced plate and what does my body need to fuel itself properly, right? That comes with experience. That comes with working with nutrition coaching
Right.
and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You can, learn and teach yourself. There's resources available, but that's not general knowledge. But generally speaking, right, we know that, healthy, lean protein, whatever, fill in the blank, whatever type of chicken or, fish, seafood you want, and healthy starch, quinoa, brown rice, some vegetables is going to be a better, healthier, nutrient dense meal for you than a cheeseburger and french fries.
Yeah.
Water is going to be better for you than, a Coke.
So one thing that happened this past week is I got a chance to write out a reasons list. Not necessarily for healthy eating. This was more specifically around running. And I got up in the morning, typical, store, and we have this moment where we have to decide, do I go out for my run or do I go back to bed? And it's been cold here in Florida. And
Like in the 30s cold, people. When we say cold, like it is insanely cold. We didn't move here for 30-degree temperatures.
and I've been doing this, practice for so long that I typically just do it in my head and I run down like all these reasons and they're powerful and strong. Like I want to do this for my wife and I want to, be there for it. I don't want to be a burden to my family and all these things. So I actually broke out my phone and decided to write them down. I hadn't done that in forever. And so then I took a screenshot and ended up putting it in the course that we were shooting content for. And it just really reminded me of like how this healthy lifestyle game is actually played. Like I think a lot of people have this misconception that, people like you and people like myself wake up every morning fully confident and clear and motivated and full of discipline that we're going to exercise like we're supposed to, and we're going to eat healthy like we're supposed to, and we eat lettuce all day and we never have candy or we never have these foods that we really like. We never eat out. Like all these things, like all these assumptions are floating around this lifestyle, which are completely out of whack. But thinking about that really just drove home the idea that having a list of reasons is so powerful, because I was able to take my 3-minute pause, write down my list of reasons, get my butt up, and went and did my run. And I was cold. I don't know. How does that sort of work for you or manifest for you when you think about your reasons list?
Specifically when it relates to food, like I am notorious for having food cravings, and I think I've been very open in our podcast and with our community about how emotional eating is for me. It is tied to celebrations. It is tied to mourning. It is tied to comfort and all of that. So there are times when I need to be intentional about reminding myself when I have chosen poorly, how that impacted me, how that made me feel. Because for me, a lot of my reasons are about making sure that I feel good and that my body works and that, I struggle with migraine headaches. I believe when I don't eat the right things, I am more inclined to have worse headaches or more often. I really rely heavily on making sure that I get enough sleep so that I don't get these migraine headaches. And part of what happens when I don't eat the right food is that I get poor rest. And I'm not, and maybe I slept for a long time, but I wasn't well rested, which then means I'm, more prone to worse migraine. So there's a lot of health benefits that I have to remind myself that you feel like garbage if you eat like garbage. You don't do well in your workout. You might go through the motions, but it doesn't feel like a good workout, or your recovery post workout is garbage and you feel, beat up, or your muscles hurt, or it takes longer for your body to, bounce back from a really long, hard, heavy session. And all of that needs to be, reminded to myself sometimes when I don't have the motivation, or my willpower is lacking, or I'm standing, in front of a array of delicious treats on a buffet. Like, maybe I don't need all of them. Maybe I can just have one.
I love it. I love it. And it's guilt free too. I mean, how powerful, here's a quick quiz. How powerful are your reasons? Are they more powerful than the messages that society sends us to go out on Friday and to celebrate Cinco de Mayo and start buying and eating for Christmas when it's October?
I mean, I do love me some pumpkin coffee, so
But yeah,
I play into the pumpkin season. But my reasons are stronger than the messages.
are your reasons stronger than habits, old habits?
It's hard to break them,
It is.
but it's possible.
Is it so? I asked that question because when I started watching football, there would be very rare occasions where I did not eat while that was happening. I was watching a football game. Typically, if I'm watching an NFL football game, some food is being consumed. And the other day, you were watching the Packers game. No wings, no beer, no blue cheese,
No chips and salsa.
just watching the game.
Yep,
And they won.
they did. About time. We had some rough games this season.
But your reasons list is more powerful than habits in that scenario, if we were to use that as a case study. And I think that's just a great example of, like, we can have bad habits, or we can have habits that don't align with what we're trying to accomplish. But your reasons can overpower that. We are all prone to the messages that are floating around social media and traditional media about what we should eat and when we should eat and how we should celebrate and how we should mourn and how we should whatever. But your reasons can be more powerful than those messages too. And I think that's really cool. I think that's the secret sauce, to be honest with you. Thoughts?
One of the things that I love the most about you is how many times you ask why. Alan is very thoughtful, and I believe the reason he is successful is because he chooses to go deep. He asks why repeatedly until he can get to the core of something. And then when you get to the core of something, then you can actually fix it. Without that, it's superficial, surface level.
I think that what happens to us is consumption or overconsumption becomes a part of our belief system, our identity. Like, I'm the type of person to eat chicken wings during a football game. And it then becomes very hard to hit my calorie or my macro number on Sundays because I'm watching football. And this idea that I can create a list of reasons that'll overpower that, that'll help me change that, I mean, it was a game changer for me. And so, but thank you, though.
You're welcome.
So, can you think of, I mean, you may have already, I think you've already covered this, but I wanted to shine a light on it. A moment where reasons pulled you through instead of motivations, where you had to make the call about what you were eating that your future self would be really, really, really happy that you made? Any recent stories that are relevant, you think?
Man, that's a good question. I guess, well, from a nutrition standpoint, how I fueled I had 3 CrossFit competitions over the course of the summer, June, July, and August.
Okay.
And I did a really good job of fueling for them in a handful of cases because I was intentional, I was deliberate, I paid attention to what I knew I needed. And I think my performance as a result was better. And I know specifically the time that I didn't pay attention and I didn't eat the things that I knew I needed to eat, my performance was less than what I had hoped it was going to be. So, proof that it's still something that, even though, we talk about the fact that this is a tool in our toolkit and we use it often, we still struggle with it from time to time. I am human, just like everybody else is human. And I think for me, it was less about necessarily like messages that I was receiving and more about being lost in the moment of what was going on and in the community. And I literally survived on like gummy candy, which was not the fuel that I needed.
No, but I would argue that some of that comes from the messages that they send out. Like we'll watch a CrossFit competition on TV, on YouTube, as an example, and these elite athletes are always reaching for gummy bears or whatever.
Oh, sure, but they also ate their chicken and rice and sweet potatoes and whatever else in between, and I failed.
But my impression of it is they reach for candy more. Like I've seen more scenes of people reaching for candy as opposed to, it's not gummy bears. What is it that's most like? Sour Patch Kids, maybe? I don't know. I'll have to think about it. But no, I hear you. I touched on, for me personally, I touched on the running workout, and I needed to use my reason list to get up. But food specifically, I needed to change my breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that's different between Katie and I is that I can eat the same things every day. So I eat the same thing for breakfast. I eat the same thing for lunch.
Nope. Not me.
So I discovered that I needed to include more fiber in my diet. I had some blood work done, and they recommended I just increase the amount of fiber I was eating. So I was like, okay, no problem. I'll just tweak the system, and I'm going to change my breakfast. So now instead of delicious waffles and egg whites covered in copious amounts of syrup, I have my
Quaker, low sugar, maple brown sugar oatmeal.
Yes. To give me a
2
little bit
packets.
more. Yes, to give me a little bit more fiber. And as much as I love me some waffles, it was a relatively easy change for me. And now I have waffles every once in a while. And my system now, or my habit protocol now, is get my oatmeal in so I can get my fiber in, so I can push off the slow go, no go years, so I can continue to move well, so I can ensure that I'm healthy and I'm there for my wife. And all of that went into changing my breakfast, because the reasons are more important than the waffles and the egg whites. I still love them though.
You can have egg whites.
I know.
Just don't have the waffles.
They don't go
You
together.
can even put egg whites in your oatmeal.
Yeah.
I think Haley Adams does that.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, you don't. Baby steps. So, getting back, why do you think people just can't turn, the diets or the challenges into healthy eating, sustained healthy eating, or lifestyle of healthy eating?
They have a superficial reason.
Hmm.
They're only focused on a number, a dress size, a visual look. And once that's achieved, then you're done. Ticked the box.
Yeah, and I don't want to be the person to sit here and say like it doesn't have to be one of the life-altering reasons for it to be effective. Well, I say that. I guess what I'm trying to say is like you mentioned this example, divorce. You might get a doctor that gives you some news that says, "Hey, you need to change your life or lifestyle, or bad things are going to happen." And I don't want to communicate that your reasons need to be that sudden or that severe or specific. And I didn't want to use the word severe because I honestly believe every day where I work out is a day that I stay healthier. Every day that I eat well is another day I stay healthier. At least I'm pushing off the slow go and all that stuff. But so your reasons, I mean, you can literally create them in your brain. Like you don't need this trick, like this life event, the significant life event for you to start changing your behaviors. You can start by sitting down and writing out a list of reasons that goes beyond I want a six pack, or I want to look good in a pair of pants, or I want to look good in a dress, or whatever the case may be. And it doesn't require, a life altering diagnosis from a doctor or a divorce or a death. It can be you just deciding, like I did, like you did, just sitting down and deciding that I don't want to live that way anymore. I'm going to live this way. I'm going to create my list of the reasons. And if I can't stick to my healthy lifestyle choices, it means my reasons aren't big enough. They're not important enough. I haven't become the type of person necessary to eat healthy over the long haul. So that's my soapbox.
Mic drop.
If you had one thing that people should take from this episode, what would it be?
You can start today.
You don't have to wait till Monday?
You don't have to wait till Monday. Please don't wait till Monday. I hate people that say they're doing it next week. I'll call you on Monday. I'm going to start on Monday. No, just start today.
Yes.
If you have listened this far, you're committed.
You're committed.
If you're still with us, you are on the journey. Just make your list. Please make your list. And then drop in the comments what things you're adding to your list so that we can celebrate them with you. Maybe something on your list is something that somebody else wouldn't have thought of, and you can help somebody else.
That's good.
Let's start your list today.
Do it.
Today.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Man, I love doing this.
Boop, 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 boop.
Final thoughts?
This was a good episode.
It was.
Not that they're not all good. I just think this was a good one. I don't know. No final thoughts. Like, subscribe, follow, make comments, share our posts, engage with us, tell us that, the good, the bad, the ugly. Do all the things. At Chase Curds and Coffee. Mousetrap Fitness on YouTube. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, everybody.